Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jay Ash. I'm the Secretary of Housing and Economic Development for the Commonwealth, and I want to provide you with some insight as to our thinking around the expansion of the Foxboro service through the pilot service to serve the communities of Foxboro and other communities up and down Route 1. Great. As you know, the governor has charged me as the Economic Development Secretary with creating a broad-based economic growth strategy. That strategy focuses on 3 areas. It focuses on communities and developing partnerships with those communities. It focuses on promoting business growth and focuses on providing a skilled workforce in the Commonwealth. We have been working to build stronger, more economically diverse regions around the Commonwealth, and we have been working with local stakeholders to increase the number of significant development-ready modular sites that exist. At this point, I should note that the governor, who was then governor-elect, and the secretary, who was then secretary nominated, began our work on looking at marketable sites and trying to attract large businesses to move to Massachusetts. In fact, we were presented with an opportunity before we took office, and were surprised at the dearth of sites that existed around the Commonwealth to support large development activity. That's why this Foxboro opportunity provides such excitement for us. We've been successful in using public infrastructure interventions to help accelerate regional economic growth, and we believe that this pilot service provides a unique opportunity to unlock the economic growth that exists, not only in this portion of southeastern Massachusetts, but in fact in the entire state. You'll notice on this diagram that the 3 pillars that I spoke of, citizens, communities, and businesses, the 3 pillars of our economic development strategy, opportunities for all, is supported by 7 component parts, and you'll notice about 10 o'clock, the transportation access is an important part of what our economic development strategy is. So in terms of Foxboro specific, as we try to grow economically vibrant regions, Boston really depends upon, outside of Boston, really depends upon having partners who can work with us to develop, identify and develop high potential sites. Foxboro provides that opportunity. There are very few sites around the Commonwealth, and very few sites around the Commonwealth provide the opportunity for pre-permanent commercial development opportunities, and Foxboro represents a significant economic development opportunity. It should be noted here that there are competitions that we face with national and international jurisdictions. And so to try to attract somebody in at 1 million square feet, you're talking about a real large user. To try to attract somebody in and say, by the way, you need to wait in order for the infrastructure to come, puts us at a competitive disadvantage. When decisions can be made, and in fact want to be made right away, the idea that we have to wait in order for infrastructure to happen presents a problem. As I've noted, this is a unique opportunity. The Foxboro opportunity is a unique opportunity in southeastern Massachusetts. What we are seeing is that these large business opportunities are looking for multimodal transportation access to parcels. And with the expansion of commuter rail service to Foxboro, with the multimodal requirement will be met. We're trying to create a regional economic anchor, which is a strategy that we pursue throughout the Commonwealth to identify areas that can be anchors, not only supporting their own local growth, but the growth of the entire region. We believe that Foxboro will become a regional economic anchor, in that our economic development abilities and impact can be best felt if we're able to succeed in this area. The potential location for economic development activities is up and down Route 1. I've been to the greater Foxboro area about a dozen times now and see tremendous opportunity for growth. This service will accelerate and augment that growth. I've estimated that there's as many as 2 dozen sites up and down Route 1 in places like Walpole and Plainville that can benefit if we're able to provide for additional transportation services. So public infrastructure is at the core of what we do to promote economic development. We have a tremendous working relationship with our sister agencies. If you don't know, you should know that Secretary Pollock Secretary Mead from Environmental Affairs and I meet regularly, and our staff meet regularly to talk about priorities, especially around economic development and the vitality of the entire Commonwealth. So we spend an awful lot of time talking about infrastructure. We spend an awful lot of time talking about stakeholders in the regions. And we spend an awful lot of time talking about how we can best serve communities. The work that EOHED does is around the MassWorks program primarily. MassWorks, as you know, provides a classic kind of public investment to attract private investment. And in the last few years, we've made over $180 million worth of awards around investment that will unlock the potential for economic development throughout the Commonwealth. So I want to give you an example of why modest public investment can make a difference. And I draw your attention to Weymouth, the former Naval Air Station in Weymouth, now called Union Point. When we began working on this, Secretary Pollack, Secretary Mead, and myself 2 years ago, the project was stalled. 1,500 acres, mostly flat, a great opportunity to create a master redevelopment. However, the project wasn't able to get off the ground. It wasn't until MassDOT made a commitment to build a parkway extension at a relatively modest $6.7 million that things began to happen. And as a result of that commitment, already 800 housing units have been constructed. And we have a commitment for a $38 million commercial development that will employ 150 new jobs in an exciting innovation area around robotics. That in and of itself is a success, but it only tells a portion of the story. The developer is actually ahead of where he had hoped to be relative to development. And we believe that as many as 3,900 units of housing and $2 billion in private investment, commercial retail housing investment will take place as a result of what was a relatively modest investment in by the state in infrastructure developments. This is a similar parallel to what we believe could happen in Foxboro. Another case in point, and it's great that Jeff Casey's here because I got to work with her in Plymouth on this. Another case in point is in Plymouth, where another relatively modest investment, $2 million in MassWorks, and has unlocked an opportunity that had been stalled for quite some time. The city had, the town of Plymouth had created new zoning to allow for 675 units of housing in Portage Park, and it was stalled. It wasn't until the state made a commitment to put up MassWorks stalls, a relatively modest investment that unlocked the possibility of 204 new units of housing, which is under construction, and a significant amount of development that we're talking about. In conclusion, I would tell you that the opportunity before you and the opportunity that I fully support is consistent with local planning. The town of Foxboro is going through a master planning process for additional services as part of their growth plan. And I emphasize growth because Foxboro in the region is looking to grow. It provides for us to support regional economic development activity, and especially regional economic development equity. We spend an awful lot of time, the governor, the lieutenant governor, myself, our staffs, talking about how we want to make sure that we stretch the growth that we see in Greater Boston to all sections of the Commonwealth. In order to do that, we have to have sites that are ready and ready to take advantage of large development opportunities. The good news continues to be that we have large development opportunities that come before us. And to the extent that we have an outstanding opportunity like this, it's going to make it easier for us to bring a biotech company. It's going to make it easy for us to bring an innovation company. It's going to be easy for us to create these major mixed-use developments that investors and communities are looking for. I can tell you that demand exists, and the demand will certainly find its way to Foxboro much more conveniently, much more expediently if we're able to support this pilot service. It's important to note that what we're talking about here is not only securing private investment, but we're talking about creating local tax rate. So if we can expand the local tax base, increase local tax revenues, it helps communities to provide the services that they need at a local level. And of course, at the end of the day, this is about job expansions and providing more opportunity for the Commonwealth residents to be gainfully employed closer to where they live and in the jobs that pay good wages. Just a quick overview as to why HED is in support of this effort. I'll tell you that we believe that your support for pilot service will pay dividends rather quickly. Obviously, there are no guarantees, and I don't have anything that is pending at this minute. But in my previous discussions with previous large employers who were looking for large development spaces in order to build and bring their businesses, I've talked about Foxboro, I've talked about several other places further outside of Port Boston. There is excitement of looking at other places other than Greater Boston for development opportunity. So thank you for the opportunity to appreciate it today.
Thank you, Secretary Ash. I would just say for the board that Secretary Ash has been a great partner. One of those MassWorks grants he talked about was unions were in Somerville, which then freed up some resources that allowed Somerville to come up with the money that we needed for the Green Line extension. We've been partnering on Focus 40 and helping they've been helping us understand where the growth will be in 2040 for our 2040 plan. And both of the sites you mentioned, Portage Park and Union Point, are actually served by existing commuter rail stations that have capacity. So we're always working together to find places in the system where we can support economic growth with existing transportation. Sometimes we're also looking at places where we need some investment. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you, Secretary. I am now going to invite Foxboro Town Manager Keegan to come up to the microphone. The town wanted to speak a little bit about its own desires and aspirations for the service.
Good morning, members of the board, Mr. Chairman, General Manager, Secretary Paul. We're here today with Reflect by Planning Director David Duncan and Chairman of our board, David Feldman.